Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I'm coming back at you with another Wargaming in miniature video. And in today's video, we're going to be starting a Mortem et Gloriam boot camp. This first episode, I'm going to call it episode 0. It's more of a unboxing or a what you get in the box video. So you'll find it in both playlists, my what's in the boxes, and you'll also find it in my new playlist for the MeG boot camp. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways that you can, 3, maybe multiple ways you can get Mortem et Gloriam. You can go to the Mortem et Gloriam website, you can get the PDF, you can order the book itself, or you can get the compendium edition boxed set. So there's a few unique things that you're going to need to play Mortem et Gloriam, and they are included in the box set. If you were to get the book separately, then you would also need to get these items separately as well. So I recommend just getting this box set. Now, this boot camp is going to be a blow-by-blow, page-by-page reveal of what is in the rule book with my commentary, how I feel the rules work, or how I like or dislike specific rules. And I will be going through the entire book. Some people have commented how they love that method because they get to see exactly what's in the book, and they get to decide on their own if that's what they want to purchase themselves. It's like a try it before you buy it kind of deal. There are others that say it's in a negative light, that it's in too much detail, and that they just wanted an overview or something like that. Well, that's not what you're going to find here at this boot camp. This boot camp is not a overview, a skimming of the rules. It is a page by page. I do this for a couple of different reasons. One of the reasons is it helps you learn the rules. But in addition, it helps me learn the rules. I'm a learn by teaching kind of individual. So if I teach you these rules, I also will be learning the rules myself. Because I'm going to tell you right up front, I do not know all these rules. And as we go through the boot camp, we'll both be learning. Okay. Let's take a look at the box. It does say that it's rules for tabletop battles, miniature games, in the ancient and medieval era. That's great, because I have a Burgundian and an English army, as well as Carthaginian, Roman, German, Gaelic, Macedonian, Greek. I guess Greek is part of it because it's part of the Macedonian army. But I have quite a few different armies, and they span from classic ancients like Greeks or Macedonians all the way up to the mid-Republicans, the late Empire, as well as the 100 Years' War, where I have like the so that's a large variety of eras. My understanding is I could take a medieval English army and fight against a Roman Republican army. I don't know if it's play balanced. I assume it is based on a point value system, but it still might go one way or another because of the way those armies are built. Okay, so let's go ahead and see exactly what you get in the box. Now, a disclaimer is I've already opened this and I've already gone through it. Plus, I ordered some additional pieces that I might have in there. So, so just understand, I know what comes in the box, and I'll explain it to you as we go. I love the fact that they went out on a limb and they made this purple. Okay, so you got a box back. It does say that it's available at the Plastic Soldier Company. It's also a 3C game. So it's a 3C game, but Plastic Soldier carries this product. Plus, Plastic Soldier has 15 millimeter miniatures in Ultracast. So if you're interested in getting miniatures, you can get them from Plastic Soldier, or you can check out my eBay store and see what other kind of miniatures that I have from Old Glory or Forged in Battle or whatever. Okay, this is a set of rules by Simon Hall. Now, I've never met Simon Hall, but he's about my age. And there's a lot of, like I said, I've already read like the introduction. He has a lot of the same sensibilities and humor that I have. So as I was reading this book, he's thrown in a few comical jests here and there. And I can relate to all of those. You know, so I think just based on that, I think that I'm going to love this set of rules. Okay, so one of the first things you see is there is a hardback book. This is an extremely heavy hardback book that is about 232 pages, not counting the 6 or 8 pages of charts and tables in the back. So we'll say 240, right? Okay, it's a beautiful book. Love the hardback. And this is what we're going to be using as I go through the various rules, obviously. Okay, you also get, weirdly enough, this I thought was kind of unique. I would not have expected a game to give me a bag. This could be a dice bag, it could be a counter bag, it could be a card bag, it could be all of the bags that you need. It's a fairly sizable bag, you know, like a 6x8 or something like that, 6x7. It's a nice bag. You know, instead of using your Crown Royal bag, you can use this. All right, it comes with some D6s, right? Now it comes with 2 sets. You'll see 2 yellow, 2 white, 2 black, 2 red, and 2 green dice. These dice are not your traditional 1 through 6 dice. They have S's on them, they have crossed swords, they have skulls, they have blanks, and when you go into combat, depending on the quality of your troop, compared to the quality of your opponent's troop, you roll dice and you compare the results on the dice to get what actually happened in the fight. So this is a very unique system. I've seen a video, I think it might have been Simon, showing off how the dice work. But again, in our boot camp, I'll be showing that as well. Now, right here you can see that I've already got 2 additional sets of dice, which means that's 4 sets because they come 2 sets in a package. So with 4 sets here and 2 sets there, I have a total of 6 sets of dice, which is, for me, is perfect for, like, if I was going to go to a convention and I was going to have 3 players per side of the table, everyone would have their own set of dice. And, you could share across the table or with each other, and there'd be dice getting mixed up, I'm sure. No big deal. But you also get a set of cards. This is kind of a card-driven game in that the cards are used for command and control. So it's kind of unusual. You have a card-driven command and control, and then you have a dice-driven combat system. I like it. I don't have any problem with it. From what I can tell from what videos that I've watched, it seems to work just fine. But we'll have to get into that in the command and control portion of the tutorial. Now, one set comes with the box set. I had already previously purchased a card set, so I actually have 2 card sets. I was thinking maybe 3 would be needed for that same scenario I was talking about, but I don't know if that's necessary, so I'm going to hold off on getting a 3rd set of cards. Okay. Tilt the box so that it'll fall out, but there is a set of counters, and it looks like there are 2 sets of counters. Let me just open this plastic and let's take a look to make sure that I'm not misspoken. Alright, so here are the counters. Now they're loosely in this sleeve where they'll easily pop out. Okay, so they are different. Okay. So they got 2 sheets. You can see you've got these little wounded men down here, and I think that represents wounds that you place behind your units. And then you've got arrows, 1, 2, and 3 arrows. Not sure what that represents. But one thing I will point out on these tokens is that the image or the picture is on a background of grass. So if I was to have this injury token on the table, it's not horribly, it doesn't stand out like maybe one of these tokens would, because it's got grass. So when you got it next to your troops, it's not a horrible thing. A lot of times I will, like in Hail Caesar or Black Powder or what have you, I would have used like glass beads or dice to represent the wounds on the back of a unit. Well, this is less obtrusive. And then I love on the fact that the back side of it is blank, just grass. So if you got a bunch of these in the corner of the table, they won't stand out like a sore thumb. I love that. Now, these guys, also the back side is grass, so they won't stand out like a sore thumb either until you actually place them. And if you notice, these colors correspond to the dice: black, yellow, red, green, and white. I don't know what that means. We're going to learn that. This is just a what's in the box, episode 0, my initial impressions of the box. So, they look beautiful. And they're nice, thick card as well. I'm very impressed with the construction of everything that I've seen so far. Okay. Now, there are 2 sets of quick reference sheets because you get 1 set in the box, and again, I ordered one of these separately. Let's split these up. Okay. So these are the 4 reference sheets that you get. Starting with these 2, These are fold out, so you actually have, they're fairly large quick reference sheets. Now I'd understand, don't panic when looking at the quick reference sheets, because first of all, they're laid out very easily to read, and you have remember, there are rules that go from biblical era all the way, like Egyptians and stuff, all the way up to the Middle Ages, and not all rules are used in every era. So if you're using just a medieval era, there's a lot of these ancient rule charts modifiers that you will never use. So you can just skim past those. And it's laid out very well. Now, when you're looking at these two sheets, there are 3 ways to play the game. You have what's called an army, right? And army points, and you and your opponent can choose which way you're going to play. And they're called Maximus, Magna, and Pacto. And Maximus is when both opponents are using a full army, the maximum number of miniatures for the army. Not every unit, but I'm saying like the units, instead of being 4 bases, they might be 6 bases, or they might be 8 bases, just depending on which unit it is. And the way the game allows players to choose based on the size of their armies. So if you don't have enough figures to play a Maximus army, what you can do is you and your opponent can agree to play a Magna army, which there are army lists for each level of the game, but in general, a Magna is 2/3 the figures of a Maximus. So, and that's the level that I prefer to play at, or I think I'm going to prefer to play at, is the mid-range. And then there's even a smaller, like if you only have a starter army and you're just trying to get started in the game and you haven't really built up your miniature collection or something like that, you can play a Pacto game. Now, the reason why I mentioned that, Pacto is about 1/3 of the Maximus army. So it goes 3/3 or full size, 2/3, and then 1/3. MeG at Plastic Soldier Company sells Pacto armies in a bag. And if you buy 1, you could field a Pacto army. And if you get 2, you could field a Magna army. And if you get 3, you could field a Maximus army. Right? So that's generally how it works. It's not a 1-for-1 relation, but that's generally the way it works. Okay, now the reason why I brought that up is because these 2 sheets, this is a Pacto quick reference sheet, and it will have only the modifiers needed for someone playing a Pacto game. And this one is the Maximus and Magna quick reference sheets. So right away, you're discarding or not using 1 or 2 of these, because you're going to be hypothetically, let's say I'm playing Magna like me, I'm only going to be using this. I won't be using that. A lot of this information is duplicated over here if it relates. If it doesn't, then it would have been taken away. Okay. Now we'll go into all these charts and things as we do the boot camp. And finally, there's 2 more sheets which I appreciate. They could have just left this in the book, but I'm glad they gave a sheet for you to have at the table. One of them is the weather rules. Not whether you're going to use the rules, but weather, like rain and snow, right? Is it hot? Is it cold? Etc. So this is the weather rules and depending on if it's winter or spring or summer, etc. And then on the other side, you have a double-sided. Think of this as a campaign map, where you and your opponent move your armies around on this map, and depending on where they collide will determine what kind of a battle that you participate in. So you have a little bit of a chess game before the game. It's like a pre-game maneuvering to determine if you want to be in a very dense terrain, because maybe you've got all kinds of loose organized troops and he's close formed, so you'd like it to be in very dense. Or maybe he would like it to be featureless, open, normal, dense, very dense. And then up here we've got none, rocky, woods, mountain forests, or deep water. Yeah, and then there's, I don't know exactly how this works. There's certain labels on this. Right. So if you're not playing a scenario, if it's just you and your friend coming together and just trying to decide how you want to play, or maybe at a tournament, you would maneuver, and then that would determine what kind of terrain you put on the table. I think that's pretty cool. Part of that is a pre-battle system. You got this whole list of things that need to happen before the battle can even begin. And then on the back side, this is terrain. Now this is the table that you'll need during the battle until you get it memorized. But I can see where that might be a problem, where you're not going to be able to memorize this. And that's one reason why I got two sets, so that everybody can have a copy of this. Or maybe I will also photocopy this and let people see. But talks about open areas and hills and orchards and marsh and woods and sand dunes and streams. There's a ton of different terrains there. I'm going to say about 20 different ones. Super good. All right, so you get one set of tables, one set of counters, one set of dice, which actually is a doubles, and then you get the bag and a set of cards and the rule book. That's what's included with Mortem et Gloriam. Now, that's where we're going to end this video. I'd like you to come back and continue watching the boot camp as we go through. What I will do going forward is I'll have armies on the table. I'll show you what I mean when I say this unit flanks this unit, or this unit pushes this unit back, or we take casualties, or we roll dice. Not only will we read it, I will also commentate on it, plus I'll actually show it. That way everyone, including myself, will be able to grasp the rules and how everything goes. All right, so thank you for coming out and checking out this video, and I will see you in part 1, which is going to be just the introduction.